Hey everyone, I've got something really exciting lined up for you today. Welcome back to Paul Graham Essays, the AI podcast series. I'm your host Nia, and this is episode 9, where we'll be diving into the need to read. This one really struck a chord with me. So, what I find absolutely fascinating is how Paul starts by reflecting on these old sci fi books where reading was replaced by these what they called tapes that would just download information straight into your brain, kind of like, plugging a USB into your head. But here's the thing. Paul makes this incredibly important point that, well, reading isn't just about absorbing information, it's actually teaching us something way more valuable: how to write. And this is where it gets really interesting. You see, writing isn't just this mechanical process of putting thoughts on paper. It's actually a tool for thinking itself. Like when you sit down to write, magical things happen. You discover new ideas, new connections that weren't there before. And trust me, as someone who does this regularly, this is absolutely true. Now, here's something really crucial that Paul points out. While you can definitely think without writing, like if you're trying to figure out how to fit furniture in a room or solve a math problem, when it comes to these complex, messy, real world problems, writing becomes this essential thinking tool. And that's where things get interesting. Because you see, it creates this kind of, chain reaction. You can't think well unless you write well. And here's the kicker: you can't write well unless you read well. And when Paul says read well, he means two things: being good at reading and reading good stuff. Oh, and I should mention this interesting note about audiobooks. While they're great for getting information, they don't quite teach you about writing the same way that reading does. It's like there's something special about seeing those words on the page? So, as we wrap up this episode, I think the big takeaway here is that reading isn't just some old fashioned habit we can replace with newer technology. It's actually this fundamental tool for developing our thinking and writing abilities. And in today's world, where complex problem solving is more important than ever, that's something we really can't afford to lose. That's all for today's episode of Paul Graham Essays, the AI podcast series. If you've enjoyed this discussion, don't forget to subscribe and join me next time for more insights. Until then, keep reading, keep thinking, and keep growing. This is Nia signing off.